So the key is that you must set a goal, devise a plan to reach that goal, and then create a schedule around that plan. And when we talk about schedule in a minute, you have to think about your schedule, because there's a lot of people out there that wing it, and I'm going to give you some little tips on. I was the wing it type of person until I got into the whole, I was in Mike Ferry organization for 6 years, and so they're super strict, super strict schedule. That kind of got me onto my schedule. So, Napoleon Hill says a goal is a dream with a deadline. And Earl Nightingale says a goal without a plan is just a wish. And Gary Keller, who I heard life by design, not by default, which kind of got me on that whole mission, he had said that at an event, and I was like, those words are what made me take action. Life by design, not by default. That resonated with me. So pay attention to what resonates with you. So I have a whole entire other class on business planning, but I want to go over some business planning with you today before we get into the leads, because what we need to do is set the foundation, right? So with business planning, when you guys, and actually you have the annual business plan, let me go through that one real quick, and I can also send it to you in PDF format so that way you can fill it in. I'm just going to go through real quick on this. We're not going to do anything with it today. I just kind of want to explain it. So first thing is making sure you have a recap of last year. Okay? So how many deals did you close? What was your gross income or your goal income, right? What was your goal for this year? What was your actual income? And then how much did you net after expenses? This is business only, right? How many contacts did you make? You need to start tracking what you're doing. How many days did you prospect? How many buyer appointments did you go on? And how many buyer sales did you actually have? That's important to know your conversion ratios, right? If you're going on 20 buyer appointments and you're only closing 3, well, then there's a problem, right? So you got to figure out where the problem is. How many listing appointments, listings taken and listings sold? If you're going on appointments, awesome. You're taking the listings, awesome. If they're not selling, that's a problem. Like, where's what's the issue there? This is going to be super important coming up in 2023. You guys have to get good at pricing property, and you have to get good if you are a listing agent at price reductions. Because unfortunately what happens when we're in this type of environment is the sellers in the news, in the media, and everybody else is last to know what the market's doing. And so the only way for you to know what the market's doing is to check the MLS dashboard every single day and write down on a piece of paper how many are active, how many went pending, how many sold, how many expired off the market. Those are very important to know, right? And then that will show you or tell you how many months of inventory we have. So that way when you're talking to people, you can spit it out. Oh, we have, 3 months of inventory or blah, 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 whatever it is. Price reductions is going to be big. How many expired? What's your average sales price? Look and see what you've sold. What's your average sales price, okay? And then what is your average commission check? Some people are on a 50% commission. Some people are on, 95% commission. So what's your average net check? And then you're going to look at, that's the recap from last year. If you guys need to, ask your broker. Get a sheet of everything you've done so that way you know. If you're not tracking your appointments. And then for the goal for this year is very same, family served, income goal, net income, days prospected, buyer appointments, all of that stuff. But you're going to start to add in, get your calendar for next year. How many days are you going to work? What are your vacation days? How many days are you going to take off? It becomes very clear when you're looking at months and saying, oh, this month I'm only working 19 days, because of whatever. And then what are your growth seminars? Where are you going? What are you going to do to make yourself better? And then when we're going through some of this stuff, what is your 80%? Where is 80% of your deals coming from? I can tell you it's going to be from a very specific source. So whatever that source is, you're doing great, do more of that. But then what do you need to add, right? What other sources? You do not want to have everything in one bucket. How are you going to get more deals? I can tell you 80% of mine was expired listings, and I was the person that kind of kept everything in that bucket. I would get a couple, past clients, just listed, just sold, for sale by owners, but almost everything came from expireds. So in order for you to achieve your goal, what do you need to do more of? And then what do you need to stop doing? Maybe it's taking out every buyer that calls you that wants to see properties out, put them in your car and drive them around and not pre-qualify them. Why would you do that, right? That's a waste of time. So, what is it that you have to stop doing? What do you have to start doing? My thing was email. I get sucked into my email and I become reactive to what everybody else wants of me. And the next thing you know, it's an hour later and I've just spent an hour on freaking emails. That sucks, right? So I now have certain times when I check my email. So what am I good at? Like, what are your talents, right? What am I not good at? I know a lot of people will say, well, whatever you're not good at, improve that, okay? I have an idea. Whatever you're not good at, hire somebody else to do that shit for you. You're not good at it. You don't want to do it anyway, so find somebody else that wants to do it. That is amazing at it. What do I need to improve? What do I need to automate? There is so much automation out there. Automate calling your past clients. Automate sending your past clients mailers, right? There's so many different, automate text messages. There's a lot of things you can automate. And so on the back side, you have the fourth quarter business plan. So we're going to go through some of that right now, but I just kind of wanted to give you a breakdown on that annual plan. So when we're talking about how many deals you closed, I want you to be intentional with how many buyers, how many sellers, what the lead sources were from those deals, right? And who do you like working with? Because you want to start to get intentional with your lead gen based on what you like, the people that you want to work with. If you don't like working with buyers, right? So then how are we going to figure out to spend more time with sellers? If you don't like working with sellers, how are we going to spend more time to work with buyers? I predominantly worked with sellers. That was my thing. That was my niche. That was what I, loved doing. Whenever I called the expired, I had my same little spiel. I specialize in working with people and properties exactly like yours. It could have been a dump or a $5 million home. That was my thing. I specialize in working with people and homes exactly like yours that have been on the market with somebody else, and that other agent wasn't able to get it sold. And when they listed with me, I was able to sell it in blah, blah, blah for 97% of the list price. So what do you want to kind of like hone in on or specialize? Set a goal, and this is so important. What you do today is going to dictate your income in January, February, and March. Because real estate in almost every sales business, and let's be real, we're in sales, is the 90-day cycle. And so what you do in October, November, December dictates your income in January, February, and March. You need to fill your pipeline with qualified people, right? So you need to have a goal right now. You have to have your 2023 business plan done by October 1st, and you need to start working that plan now, because what happens all the time is quarter one, your income sucks because you went to the parties and you stopped doing what you were doing, and it's, Halloween and this and that and and a week off for this and that, whatever, right? So what would happen if you busted your ass from now until December 23rd? How amazing would your holiday be from the 23rd to the 1st or 2nd? And how amazing would your quarter one be? That's going to give you that momentum to really have an amazing Q1 next year, okay? Look and see now, how many transactions do you want to do, and have a big goal. Maybe you could say 10, like I want to do 10 between now and the end of the year, or 20. I mean, I don't know where everyone's at in their business, or maybe it's just one, okay? But whatever that number is, be intentional on making it happen. So complete your 2023 business plan and start working the plan and really figure out what days you're taking off. So with goal setting, you really want to start to see where your lead sources are coming from and make a list of that. And then when you make a list of your lead sources, what are the things that are not working, right? What do you have to eliminate immediately? There might be some of those things. There might also be some things that you're still unsure. Maybe it hasn't been, long enough. Maybe I need to give it another 30, 60 days. How many days are you going to give it? And if it still does not bring you results, you're going to cut it off. Because I bought Zillow leads and I kicked myself in the ass month over month. And a year later, I'm like, what the heck did I just do? I could have cut that off a lot sooner than I was, right? And you have to think about, and we're going to talk about buying the business and working for the business. Boomtown, Real Geeks, they all could be great. But you have to have the income to sustain that, because that is not going to bring you a deal tomorrow. So if you don't have that income to sustain, until that stuff starts kind of rolling in, you have to then work for that business. So who are your target? Is it buyers or is it sellers? It's not, anyone that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, build this, that, the other thing, because it's so broad that you're not even seeing the actual people in front of you that want to do something today. What do you need to start doing, stop doing, and add to your business? What do you need to systematize? Like, what systems do you have? What's working with your systems? What's not working with your systems? What can you automate and what can you delegate? Because I am a huge believer in automation and delegation, okay? So when I was calling expireds, and then I'll talk about automation. Actually, we're gonna talk about automation in a little bit so I can talk to you about some of the tools. Schedule. What is your daily schedule? This is so important. This is so important. You cannot just wing it. Like, what is your daily schedule? What is your morning routine? Has anybody read Miracle Morning? It literally changed my life. I was, and still would be if I didn't have big goals, literally a snoozeaholic. Like, it got so bad that I would snooze 7 or 8 times until I was just like, I'm just gonna reset my alarm. Like, that's how bad it was, because I was sick of the snooze button. So what is it, right? And well, with Miracle Morning, that taught me the routine that I have to do. So am I up at 5 now? Yes. Do I want to be up at 5? No, I hate it, but I'm up at 5. I do snooze once, so full disclosure, but I am up at 5:15. And I have my routine, and now it is so like second nature to me, and that is what gets me on my day, right? And so I have to work out in the morning, because if I don't do it in the morning, I'm never going to do it. Anything that you do not want to do has to be done in the morning, and you have to have a rock solid schedule between 8 and 12 where nothing gets in your way. And in that time is your lead generation time. And I don't care if your lead generation is going on LinkedIn and connecting with people from Massachusetts because you want to work with relocation specialists and people, moving down here. I don't care if it's calling your past clients, whatever it is, it has to be done between 8 and 12. And I can tell you that there is nothing when I sold real estate that interrupted my lead gen time. I don't care if it was my kid's doctor's appointment, that can wait until the afternoon. Like, nothing got in between that time. And so no one bothered me during that time. I never took phone calls during that time. It was like another appointment that I had that nobody could reach me. Like, I might as well be in some other country. So what is your rock solid morning routine? And then I felt like off track for, I feel like it was like 2 years. As soon as I started incorporating my night routine back into my life, it totally changed. because now you're setting yourself up for your morning, right? You're already thinking about what you have to do the next day. You're planning it in your mind. You're reading, what are you grateful for? What happened today that was awesome? Like, you have to plan in your mind the following day. And Sundays, you have to plan your week. And believe me, I don't want to plan my week on Sundays. It's like the last thing I feel like doing. But now I know how I am personally. If I want to go out, it's got to be Friday or Saturday night, because Sunday I need to make sure I'm on my game for Monday, right? So leverage. Who is your next hire and why? Right? So everybody should be hiring somebody to do something. It can be as simple as a virtual assistant doing a newsletter for you that goes out to your past clients, and they're going to send it out monthly. I was talking to somebody, and I think I had told Monica the story, last year, and she had called me and said, will you be in my February newsletter? I want to, interview you, da, da, da. And I said, yeah, of course, I'd love to. And then I said, who's doing your newsletter? I am. I said, why? Like, how are you doing it? Like, what are you doing it on? She's like, oh, no, I'm doing it. I'm going to send it. She lives in Bonita National, to everybody in Bonita National. Da, da, da. I'm like, all right, but you should be outsourcing that to somebody else. There's people in the Philippines that will do that for $3 an hour, and it would probably cost them $3 to do. So, they're good at that. Why are you doing? No. I saw her a month and a half later. And she's like, you're right. She goes, you know what? I did everything for that February newsletter, and I never sent it out. And now it's April, and I can't because it was for February, right? So who's your next hire? What are the things that you are doing or want to be doing that you don't have the time for, or you don't know how to do, or you don't want to do? Right? There's going to be a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I know how to do, and I know I'm better than my assistant at doing it. But you know what I'm doing? I'm training her. I want her to be better than me. I want to show her how to do everything so she can be better than me, so then I can go and do the things that I want to do. So if you don't like transactions, right? You get a contract, and the last thing you want to do is deal with it from contract to close. Hire somebody. They're like $250, $350 in a deal. And if it doesn't close, you don't pay them, right? Maybe you love working with buyers and you hate making all of those phone calls to schedule all of those stupid buyer appointments. Who wants to do that? Hire a virtual assistant to do that for you, okay? Doesn't have to be someone $15, $20 an hour. So once you make a list of all of the things you hate doing, then we can back into it and figure out who is going to do that for you. So, tools. What tools are you using in your business that you like? And what tools are you using in your business that you do not like? It could be a CRM. It could be, basically anything. What can you automate? What can you delegate? And we talked about that. But what are the different tools in your business that you're just like, you know what, I'm using this thing, but I wish I had something else. So your day starts the night before, okay? You want to bookend your days. You have to have that morning routine, and you have to have that night routine. Those are so incredibly important. Miracle Morning is an amazing book that will help you get there. Your schedule has to support your goals. So if you want to do 5 deals a year, your schedule doesn't have to be that tight in somebody that wants to do 350 deals a year, okay? So your schedule has to support your goal. I can tell you, and this is like, I have a million projects I'm working on, and I also am like a domain addict. I think I buy like a million different domains. I have like 3 pages of domains. But anyways, so I came up with this thing called Be Done by One. And basically what it is if you do the necessary things every single day, from the moment you wake up, that includes your lead gen, your lead follow-up, every single thing that you need to do in your business, you can set your business up so you can be done by 1 and then spend the rest of your day doing whatever else it is. Whether it's going to the beach, whether it's planning or working on another business, whether it's whatever. If you have a rock solid plan in your business to make sure that every single day you do everything that you have to do and be done by 1. And I know it works because when I'm in Europe, I try to, now I have, 8, 9-hour days. There I cram it all into 2 or 3 hours. And guess what? I'm efficient. I do everything. I get my work done and I'm done in 2 to 3 hours. It can be done. Why am I not doing the same thing when I'm back here? Right? So we're like, la, 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 la. No, super strict, be done by 1, and then go and do whatever else you want to do. Be proactive and not reactive, right? You control the day. Do not let the day control you. And do not let buyers control you. And do not let sellers control you. If I had a seller that wanted to meet with me at 10 o'clock in the morning, the answer was, I'm sorry, I can't. I have another appointment that time. I have later this afternoon at 2 or 4 o'clock, or what would Wednesday evening be better? Because I had one night a week that I would work at night, right? So whenever I was on the call with a seller, my question to them, and I said to Monica the other day, if you would be willing to meet with me, I have availability today at 2, or would 4 o'clock be better? Always give them the options. Oh, neither of them work. Okay, well, I have tomorrow at 2, 4, or would Wednesday evening be better at 7? Okay? You guys have to control your schedule, because if not, you're going to feel pulled in 1,000,001 different directions, and you are going to hate your job and hate your life. So your work schedule has to start with the lead generation. It's the same thing for me as going to the gym, because I hate going to the gym. I literally hate going to the gym, and I really don't go to the gym. I run around the block. It's 2 miles. Do a couple weights at home, a minute 20 plank, and I'm done. But if I don't do that in the morning every day at 6:30, guess what? I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it. It's the same thing with lead generation. If you do not do that every single day, because consistency is key, in the morning, okay? I know some people that say, I do it every Wednesday night. It's not enough. Maybe it's enough for your goals, right? It depends on your goals, but that wasn't enough for me. So start to think about what your goals are and your schedule and your time, and your schedule has to support your goals. But it's like that book, and I'll tell you guys the story afterwards, but it's like that book, Eat the Frog, where you have to do the worst things first, because if you don't, you also think about it all day and it makes you feel bad, right? Calling that client to tell them their loan, hopefully not, is denied. That sucks, right? Calling that seller to let them know that the contract fell through and they weren't really pre-qualified, and then, that sucks. None of that is fun. Get it over with fast. Just do it. Don't even think about it, because if not, you're going to think about it all day and it's going to destroy you. And you feel so much better once it's off your plate. So don't let anything else interrupt your lead generation time. So ask yourself, how much time are you selling during the day? On a daily basis, how much time are you selling during the day? Is it 25% of the time? Is it 75% of the time? Are you working on marketing material or your website? Or are you talking to buyers and sellers about listing their home or working with a buyer, right? Pre-qualifying them. And what is holding you back? Is it schedule? Is it that, you're not strict with your schedule? Is that you don't know what you need to do on a daily basis? What is it? So make a list of every single thing that you do during the day. Determine what is holding you back, who you need to hire, because you guys should not be doing $10 an hour jobs. You shouldn't be. You're professionals. You are real estate professionals. You are dealing with someone's largest asset, right? If your average sales price is $300,000, which $300,000 is nothing for this area anymore, right? And you're on a 3% commission, that's $9,000. You do 20 deals a year, you're making $180,000. Who thinks that they could make $180,000 or do 20 deals a year, right? 20 deals. Everybody in here could do that if you really wanted to, if you had your schedule set up properly. if you knew who your target market was, if you were going and generating leads on a daily, consistent basis, right? Everybody can do 20 deals a year. So the other thing you need to stop doing is working with unmotivated buyers and sellers and hoping that they become motivated. And the reason why you guys are doing that is because you're not pre-qualifying them. You're not digging deep for the motivation. You're not really figuring out why they're looking to move, what is important to them, listening to what they're saying. You're just so happy you got a buyer that you're like, woohoo, let's go, I got a buyer. You know, tell everybody in the office, I got a buyer. They might just be on vacation wanting to check out homes. I can tell you when I was younger, my dad did that to me and my brother and my mom all the time. We were in Lake Tahoe and on a ski, and there was a blizzard. We couldn't really ski. What did he do? Calls up a realtor, which is what he does every time. Did he ever have an intention? And I'm sorry, this is terrible saying this, but it's what happens. Did he have any intention on buying a property? Maybe. The right one came up. This poor guy, I mean, I was mortified, is taking us around in a blizzard. We're in a van, and I don't even know why, but there are all these big stairs to go look at this condo. So they go up. I'm like, I'm in the car. I am not getting out of the car this entire day. And the guy slips, falls all the way down. He's under the van. I'm like, oh my God, is this really happening? Okay, so good thing we don't sell property in the winter. But that's what people do. And you guys are showing them around if you don't pre-qualify them, right? And if you are pre-qualifying them, keep in mind, people's motivation changes. What people want changes. They might want one thing, but now they're looking at properties and they're seeing, oh, well, guess what? I can't get what I want, so maybe I didn't need that fourth bedroom as much as I should. And if you don't figure out if their motivation changes and you keep sending them the same stuff that they now realize they don't need or don't want because you never re-qualified them, they think you're a bad agent because you're not listening to them. So not only do you need to pre-qualify, you need to re-qualify. And you have to make sure you're doing that. Okay? So paperwork, meeting the inspector. Do you know how many good real estate agents I see? I was a listing agent, right, for the most part. And I worked with buyers. I never met an inspector at the house. Why would you do that? And I'm sorry if some of you guys, this is my personal opinion. Why would you do that? You have a professional that is at the house that you trust because it was a recommendation, right? And now you're with him or her. What's the reason? They're the professional. They're going to come and tell you what's wrong with it, right? That is how I ran my business. Not everybody might not agree with me, but with photos, you hire a professional photographer. Why are you following them around? They know what they're doing. That's 3 hours out of your day that you could be doing something else. And if you really want someone on your team there, hire somebody to do that because that is a waste of your time. Listing management, right? Uploading photos to MLS. There's people in the Philippines that will do that for $3 or $5 an hour and they do it all day long, okay? I worked with another real estate agent for a little bit when we moved back here. I taught her VA how to write contracts. It's super simple. Go to LIPA, pull the legal description, put it over here. Here's the address, here's the price. People can do everything that you don't want to do, okay? Listing agreements, right? So client calls, get an ISA, get an inside sales agent to do them. So you need systems, processes, and people in order to take your business to the next level. So you're going to set a goal, and then we're going to take a break here in just a minute. So set a goal from October 1st to December 23rd. Then you're going to work your way backwards. You're going to write them down on your 3-month business plan. Every week, you're going to set your goals on Sunday for that week. And I'm telling you, I know this sounds crazy, but it actually would work. I would maybe not even have, a listing that I thought was going to go under contract. But I would write Susie's home is going under contract this week. I will have 2 buyers this week, 2 buyer contracts, right? I might not have even been working with a buyer. But what you put out there into the universe actually happens sometimes, right? So become intentional on what it is that you're looking to do. And then get an accountability partner. Get an accountability partner because it is so easy to get off track. I can tell you the power of masterminds. And I was in Mike Ferry when I sold real estate, and so super close-knit group, everyone's pushing each other, role play partners, accountability, this, that, the other thing. I realized how important that was, and I was like longing, yearning for some sort of mastermind group when I got back into mortgage. And I really didn't find it, and I just found one a year ago that has me dialed in. We hold each other accountable. We are making sure that we're all going to be the best version of ourselves and that we're all going to win. And so these people are not here. They're all over the world, actually. I have a guy in Budapest that I'm working with who's like a mindset coach. So, and this mastermind is all different businesses. So if anyone's interested and wants to know more about it, I'll tell you after. But, just because you're here doesn't mean you have to have an accountability partner with somebody in. Sometimes your friends and your family are not the ones cheering you on, right? And that sucks sometimes to think about, but it's the truth. On my Facebook posts, almost everybody that are commenting are people I don't even know, right? Or people that just know me from Facebook, or people in my accountability. It's not all my friends and family. Go Danielle. Right? So you can find accountability partners in Facebook groups and other masterminds. Find people online if you don't have anybody here that you can connect with and have the same goal with and hold each other accountable. So consistent actions, and that's the key word is consistent, consistency, and that is one of the big reasons why no one gets to that true potential is because they're not consistent in what they do. They do not do it on a daily basis.